Please don't buy a brand new driver until you watch the rest of this video.
Very rarely do we think about buying a brand new driver when everything's going well. We're hitting it long, straight, as good as our club head speed can produce, and it's one of the strongest parts of our game. Yet our mind does tend to wander and look for newer models, newer head types, different shafts, different brands when the driver isn't playing ball. Today's video, we're going to go through all the faults you probably have with your driver and look at the technique you can fix first before going and looking at a completely different head type to plaster over and mask the actual fault that you have in your golf game. Let's talk draw bias heads, one of the most popular head designs over the recent years to try and offset that slice. But when you really understand how to get rid of that in your own game, not only are you going to get straighter drives, but you're going to get more distance. You're not wasting energy and still coming across the golf ball, even though that driver head will offset the straightness of it or kind of mask the fade that you do have on the golf ball. Ultimately, you're still not compressing the ball as much as you should be. One of the simplest techniques, and again, there's multiple reasons without seeing your swing why you come across it and why you have a fade, but one of the most common faults at setup I see is this. Open shoulders, everything aim left to offset that fade, trying to get it into the fairway. And you see that arc of left to right. What I want you to try as you set up at the driving range to offset that fade, straighten that ball flight, is rather than set up open with your shoulders, bring them back. Feel like your shoulders, your feet are aiming out more to the right hand side, but more than predominantly, this shoulder alignment is crucial to making sure your club is going more towards the target opposed to coming across it. So before you look at a brand new draw bias head, please try that tip and let me know how you get on. Now, this video contains a lot of practice, a lot of grinding and a lot of work on the driving range, and if you use your gloves on the driving range a lot, you'll know you go through them pretty quickly. Just Golf Online have this exceptional deal of £9.99, not for one glove, two gloves, but 5 gloves, meaning that you're able to get through 2, 3, 4, 500 range balls at around £2 a glove. Obviously, I get no commission from this sale or even any of the other items you were to look at on Just Golf Online using the SAS £10 off code, but I did get paid for this video and I'm still using the Skechers shoes that they did in a previous video, and to be honest, at just over £50 including delivery, that again is a great value for money option going into the winter. Now, this next one is for you guys to get more distance out of your driver, which, let's be honest, is one of the main reasons why we look to buy a new driver. And time again, I see people coming with their driver heads for a fitting and it looks like this. You see these sky marks at the top here, and this tells me one thing: you hit down on your driver. Therefore, no matter how much I loft it up, give you a better shaft, move the head weights about, you're not going to get the direct result. You're not going to get that low spin, high launch factor that creates longer drives. And time again, I see people tee the ball low so that they don't sky it. They go nice and low into the ground because they don't want to sky it. And even though that solves the problem on the tee box, long term, you're not getting the desired result of that high launch and low spin. Now, if you watch the channel a lot, you'll see my angular attack is disgusting when it comes to driving. It's like 7 on the up, 8 on the up, and that's because I practiced for a long time with 4-inch tees for long drive. And I'm not saying you should get into long drive, but what it did teach me when I was teaching the ball that high off the ground is to have the ability to keep hands forward at impact, but at the same time hit up through the golf ball. That reduction of spin loft, dynamic loft of the driver, and the angular attack of that driver going up creates high launch and low spin. Get an old driver on the driving range. I'm talking something you don't care about. Start teeing that ball high. Get used to the idea of, rather than coming down into the golf ball to get that low spin aeroplane taking off, to do the opposite and learn to hit up and through it so you get the desired result of longer drives. God, that has gone a mile. Let's talk club head speed. The ultimate difference between you hitting the ball further. If you solve your swing path, no more slicing, and you're now hitting up through the golf ball, you've got the right measurements of hitting it further. But new technology isn't necessarily going to give you that 30-yard gain that an increase in club head speed would. Let's get faster. Forget the ball. Forget everything you've ever taught. Let's just stand on the tee box and give it some. Forget the ball. The ball needs to get in the way of the driver, and too often I see people stiff. They swing a nice flourishing practice swing, ball gets in the way, everything gets stiff, and we've got a bit of this going on. Your club head speed reduces because you're too worried about finding the middle. Start learning to forget about the golf ball. This is great on the driving range. 5 swings, flat out, stand up to the ball and just swing at it. You'll be shocked and surprised how often that 6th shot goes straight. And not only that, because you're overtraining and swinging naturally faster before it, you'll learn to increase your normal standard swing on the golf course. Number 4, let's talk about the part of the club that affects the direction most. Club face. No matter your swing path, angle of attack, club head speed, if your face is like that at impact, your ball is going right. If your club face is like that at impact, your ball is going down here. Doesn't matter which way your head is traveling. And too often I see players with a big slice, or let's say push slice. Your swing path sorted, club head speed's great, angle attack's good, but you're standing there constantly trying to get this nice, perfect neutral grip. Whereas if we just strengthen the grip a tiny bit, you're going to get rid of that destructive shot. There's no need to keep changing drivers just to fit a profile that you saw on a magazine and you feel every other great player on TV is doing. I have an incredibly strong grip, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but this game isn't about right or wrong. If you struggle with everything out right, or alternatively, if you struggle with everything out left, don't worry about a new driver. Let's have a look at the grip. If you hit everything left and your grip looks like this, then by all means, bring your grip more neutral. That will open the club face. Alternatively, if you keep hitting everything out to the right-hand side, let's strengthen that grip. And it's a great tool, especially for my lessons that just want to play that weekend golf, get the ball down the fairway, stop forgetting about all of this. If you can change something simply at address by, let's say, strengthening that grip so you don't hit it down the right-hand side, well then you're just going to have a better time on the golf course. And then number 5, we've looked at club head speed, we've looked at club face, we've looked at swing path, we've looked at angular attack. And if you've tried all of those and you're still not getting there, by all means go and ask a professional with a launch monitor. They will tell you if you're spinning the driver too much and what's causing it to spin that much more. Just for the same reason you go and see a doctor or a mechanic, because the knowledge is there. Rather than spending 2-3 months over the winter trying to figure out yourself, £30 for a half an hour lesson just to get you on the right way is going to pay dividends in your driver performance and practice over the winter. That being said, I've listed the 4 reasons why your driver isn't performing the way it should do, and don't necessarily go and buy a brand new one just because a magazine told you it'll cure your faults. How to get the most out of your driver when it does come to that spin loft angle, which I briefly mentioned. And if you are interested, it's the video up here on the right hand side. Catch you guys later.